Hello everyone and welcome to this NatSpec Tech Ability webinar, Top 10 Chrome browser extensions for accessibility. So I've been updating my knowledge on this and testing different extensions. So I hope you'll find some of these useful. What I'm going to do today is go through the extensions and talk about the considerations, the different features that they've got. And then at the end, if there's any in particular that you want me to demonstrate, then let me know. I'll probably use that time just to show you how to get onto the Chrome store, how to enable them and disable them, pin them, unpin them, and just little things like that. Okay, so what we're going to cover today, these are the 10 that we're going to cover: Helperbird, Clara, Read and Write, Grammarly, N-Overlay, Open Dyslexic Font, Beeline Reader, Colorblind Dalton, Read Mode, and Reading Ruler. A few considerations before we get underway. I know it sounds obvious, but you'll need to use these in Chrome. Sometimes we've said about this and you find people will be using a different browser, and often they need a Google account. The advantage of a Google account is that you can go onto any other computer, log onto the browser there, and then these same extensions will follow you. I remember being quite surprised by that when that first happened. Sometimes you'll need to restart the browser or refresh or open a new tab for things to take effect. So if you've changed the font and it hasn't updated, just generally it's good to start again and just close the browser down, open it back up again. The one limitation I'd say is this will only help learners in the Chrome browser. So if they need this kind of help elsewhere, then consider an all-inclusive tool. And again, just get in touch with us through Twitter or through our email if you'd like to replicate these kind of things that you've seen today in any other platform or on the desktop, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah. Enabling and disabling is different from pinning. I'll show you that a little bit later on. Sometimes you might not see the browser extension, but it might be running in the background, so that's something to be aware of. I had lots of fun earlier trying to work out which extension had changed my font and trying to change it back. Don't always make sure you read the reviews if you're installing a new app. Check the privacy policy. Some of these apps change as they go along as well, so it's always worth updating now and again. And don't get carried away and install all of these, otherwise you'll end up in a mess like I was earlier trying to work out which one was changing the settings on my computer. So yeah, just pick a few at first that you want to try, and especially with learners, make sure you don't throw too much at them at once, or it may become quite confusing. Okay, so the first one is Helperbird. Now this is one that I think I'd missed a few times in the past, and only just come up to speed with it recently. So I tried this out today, and it brings Immersive Reader to Chrome, which is one of the best features of it. I'm almost definitely going to demonstrate this at the end. So with Immersive Reader, you can change the size, you can have text-to-speech, you have a built-in picture dictionary, you can highlight grammar options, and Helperbird itself has a wide package as well of different tools to change fonts, change the font size, overlay optical character recognition in your browser, which means it can read out text from pictures. You can change the cursor size, you can use text-to-speech, there's a high contrast mode and much more. So some of these are only available in the full mode, but yeah, the free basic mode includes the Immersive Reader, which is probably going to be the main feature for a lot of people there, especially if you've got learners who've used it before in the past. They'll be very familiar with that. Now, I found a little bug earlier where it wasn't reading to the end of the lines. You couldn't click on some of the text there. So some limitations. I'd be interested in if anyone else has that same problem. but I'm sure we'll be able to report it, and hopefully they'll be able to fix that little bug. And yeah, the pro mode is $40 a year, and that's for students. Okay, some of the most common ones that we have are Clara Read and Write. So in no particular order, we're starting with Clara. It has a select to speak text function. You can either point with your mouse to hear the text or click play to hear the sentences, and it covers it with highlighting as well, so the learners can see what's being read at the same time. It speaks accessible PDFs opened in Chrome with highlight by clicking the play button, and you can hear letters, words, or sentences spoken back as you type, which can be quite a good confirmation for learners typing things in. There is a coloured overlay, so if you're using this package, that's fine, but then there is another one that we're going to cover later that's a better covered overlay, and we'll talk a bit about that later. On all these slides, what I've done is I've included the logo at the top left, so you can be sure that you're downloading the right toolbar when you see that logo. I've also included the link there, and we'll make sure that these are emailed out so you can access them through the slide. Just to mention, you can change the speed of the voice. You can activate word prediction as well, which means as the learner's typing out a word, it can suggest the end of that or suggest what the next word is. You can add custom dictionaries to that, which means that if they're typing about a certain subject or there are certain words that are more common, you can feed those into the prediction tool. It reads the contents of Google Docs extensions aloud, so all your support tools speak. And again, it's free with some premium features. Quite similar, Read and Write. They have text-to-speech again with the color highlighting. They have text and picture dictionaries. You can dictate words with it, proofread, and again, it has word prediction. Where it probably stands out as slightly different from Clara is that it has a function where you can collect highlights from the text in documents, and these are the little colored highlighter symbols that you can see, blue, purple, yellow, and green. So you can pull out those from documents and put them into on the web and pull them into your documents, and you can create and listen to voice notes directly inside Google Docs. All these features are free for 30 days, so you can try them all out, and there are free licenses for teachers as well. So what I've done is I put the teachers link underneath there as well, so you can follow that if you're interested in a free license. Grammarly is quite a common one, and must warn you, if you type this in, you'll be advertised to forever by them. But it all depends on whether you're bothered by that or not. You can use it on many platforms, so it's account based. So I can have my Grammarly account on my laptop, I can have it on my mobile phone, and I can log in to it anywhere. It checks your grammar as you type, but you can also review documents as well, where you can feed an entire document and it will go through and correct some of the major features. There's free and premium versions. The free version covers most of the grammar items that you'll need. There is an alternative called Pro Writing Aid. I think the last time I checked and reviewed that, it was a little bit more expensive and maybe not as easy. But again, if you've got the time, it might be worth checking both. We try and remain quite neutral on products, so it's always worth trying different ones because they bring in new features all the time. N overlay. Now this is the one that I was talking about that has the better colored overlay. So what a lot of the overlays do is they change the entire color of the screen, and that includes the black, so you lose some of the contrast there. It ends up having a kind of washed out effect. So with N overlay, what it does is it changes all the background colors to whichever color you choose, but then it keeps the black nice and strong, so you keep that contrast. And if you try both of these tools, you'll see a real big difference. There's 8 bundled color profiles, or you can make your own, and it's free or pay as you feel. And if you pay as you feel, half of that money will go through to development of the product, and half of it goes to a dyslexia charity. So yeah, it's a good tool, and they're worth supporting, I think. Okay. Open dyslexic font. Now this is a little bit more simple than some of the other tools. Those are quite comprehensive packages sometimes. This is just something that changes the font and the readability with the open dyslexic font. Some learners get along with this font, some don't. So it's worth checking with the individual learner whether they prefer this or other dyslexia-friendly fonts. But it does format the page as well to be more easily readable. And it's completely free. On the right-hand side, there's an example of the open dyslexic font there, so you can get an idea of how it looks. And I think the key is to give words gravity, so they can't be, they're less likely to be flipped around in your head. And again, I've put the link there for that one. Beeline Reader is a similar type of tool in that it changes the way things look, but it relies on colors to hold your place in whatever you're reading. And their claim is that it makes reading faster and easier for over 90% of people. And it's been quite widely promoted and publicized, so honored by the United Nations, and the apps have featured on some different media kind of sources. So and they have backed up their claims with research on this. And if you look at the text, I've got an example on the right hand side. It goes from black to blue and then back to black again, and then it goes from red to black and then on to blue, and so on and so forth. And the idea is that when you move your eyes from one word to another, you don't move to a different color. You stay with the color that you're on, so it makes it easier to read and you don't get lost in the text. So quite simple. Some learners don't like to look as if they're using something very different, and there can be some kind of stigma around using tools. This tool is quite it's quite low profile, so it might work for those learners who are maybe a little bit self-conscious about using different tools. Colorblind Dalton. So with so many people having color blindness, this is really useful. It allows people with color blindness to see more colors, and it can work with blue, green, and the red vision deficiency. And the idea is that color blindness doesn't relate to just 2 color shades. It's the whole visual spectrum, color spectrum, which is affected. So with this, you can choose your color profile, and you can choose the color adjustment and the severity of it as well, and it will change the screen to match that. And again, another free tool, which is useful. So reader mode, this is another one that I've tried out recently, so I haven't had as long with this as I'd like to, but it's another large kind of package of tools altogether. And reader mode removes all the clutter, removes all the ads and distractions, but it also includes dyslexia support, and some of the bookmarking and editing and annotating, highlighting, and text-to-speech functions. So when I used it, it was I found it fairly good. But what I didn't like was I had to memorize what the symbols meant. So I think over time you might become quite good with that and know what they mean. But even if you hover over them, there isn't a tooltip. So you have to press on it to see what it does to figure out, you know, whether you want to use it. So that might be some more feedback that we give to them, that it'd be good to have text and symbols combined. That being said, it's really useful, and there's not many people that wouldn't benefit from a clearer, simpler interface. If ever you've been on particularly recipe pages, then they can be really noisy, can't they, with reams and reams of adverts. And for learners with any kind of learning disabilities, it's quite hard to tell what's the text that they should be focused on and what's the text that is just there as advertisements. And a few of these tools do that quite well, and it's free. Reading ruler, this is one suggested by Phil, and it's a nice simple highlighter of a line or a few different lines. You can operate it with the arrow keys, so you can move down, up and down. You can double click on it to start it, and escape to cancel it as well. You can customize your color, and it's completely free again. So those are some of the main tools that we've gone through. I wanted to add a few honorable mentions as well. I didn't think I'd be able to stop at 10. So Snap and Read is another really useful tool as a package, and the one that it has that stood out to me is that OCR, optical character recognition. So the chameleon picture on the right hand side of this slide, you're just selecting the text in that picture and pulling it out, and it's reading it out for you. Forest is one that I've mentioned before on our mobile phone apps. So just wanted to mention that you can also get an extension for it, and that plants a tree every time you're trying to concentrate on something, a digital virtual tree. And if you manage to focus on what you're doing and don't go onto any blacklisted sites that you've listed, then it plants that tree and it grows. And before you know it, you can have a forest. And that's quite good for learners who need to be focused and might be distracted and go onto different websites. You can limit them to just a few websites. It doesn't completely block things, so there are other tools if you want to keep learners completely on one task, but it does act as an encouragement to do so. EduPuzzle is one specifically for YouTube, where you can stop a YouTube video at any one different point and add in kind of quiz questions. So it's a way of setting learners homework or a task in session where they watch a video and then have a quiz as they go along. So you can get them to think more about the resources. And the issue with YouTube is it's often very passive. This is a bit more active, and you're getting learners to think about what they want to talk about. Todoist, again, is another one we've dealt with in the mobile one, but you can also have this on your Chrome extensions, and it gives you lists. You can be allocated these by someone. You can have them time-based, and it's just a really good way of chunking and breaking down tasks for learners. I know I need that when I have things to do. I have to break those down into the different steps, so I can take those first few steps to get something done. So yeah, hope you find that useful. So I'm going to be finishing up in a few slides. If there's anything that you'd like me to show you in particular, then let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to be going on and kind of showing you how to engage certain extensions, how to turn them off, how to pin them, and things like that. And yeah, so if there's any requests of any particular apps that you've liked, then just let me know in the chat, and we'll have a little look at them. We've got some training coming up, so if you've liked the kind of things that we've done today, there's something quite similar. Wednesday 28th of April, 10 practical steps to include more learners. So it'll be 10 quickfire topics, including a range of assistive hardware, software and techniques. It'll be a really good way of raising awareness in staff teams to give them an idea of these are the practical things that you can do day to day with learners. We've got the link on there, techability.org.uk/training. And there's a fee discount for NatSpec and Carton members, should you be one of those. The Different subjects that we're looking to cover are Office 365 learning tools. So that'll be Microsoft Immersive Reader. We'll also be looking at some of the tools for accessibility checking. From that, we'll be looking at accessible documents, how to use headings and things like that. We'll be going through some mind mapping and showing you how to use that. Brain in Hand, which is a really useful support tool for autism and mental health. Using your phone to read text and handwriting, iPad accessibility, and some scanning pens as well. So there'll be a host of different things that people can try there. So it's a really good one if you're just starting out, just learning what different things you can do. It can be quite an inspirational kind of area to get people going with assisted technology. So yeah, if there's anything that you'd like to know more about, then you can get in touch with us through phone. You can email us techability@natspec.org.uk. Follow us on Twitter @tech_ability1. And we've also got our web address and direct link to our previous webinars there. So if there's any questions, then put those in the chat bar. And I'm just going to open my browser and show a few of the tools. Here we go. So here's my Chrome browser. I've put it into the dark mode. I've put all my computer into the dark mode. I find it more relaxing than looking at a kind of bright screen all day. So to get to the Chrome extensions, you've got the menu button at the top right here, which has three dots on it. If I click on that and then go down to more tools, there's extensions. So any extensions that I've installed will go into here, and yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, yours won't look quite as busy as this, but I think let's just see if there's any in the chat. Great, thanks Alex. I'm glad that you're looking forward to seeing the links and having an explore. So I'm going to engage Helperbird. What else are we going to turn on? Let's also, we've got reader mode turned on, N overlay, and yeah, I've got Dalton. Great. So now I've engaged some of those. You might see them up here at the top with these small icons here. If I want to see what extensions I've got installed at any one time, it's the jigsaw puzzle button here. And you can see these are all the ones that we've got going at the moment. If I want to keep them pinned onto the menu there, I can just hit the pin button there. So as you can see, even though I didn't have the N overlay symbol there, it's still running in the background. So that's something to bear in mind. Reader mode, snap and read. So that's how to pin and unpin them, is to go to the jigsaw puzzle symbol. And then when I want to disable those again, I go back to more tools, extensions, and then yeah, it comes up with this same page, and then I can just deselect any that I see selected. Okay, and if you remember what I said in the first slide, is sometimes when you turn them on, it won't instantly work, so you have to close the browser. Okay, so I've closed the browser and I'll reopen it again. Sometimes you can just open a tab or do it that way, but it's probably easier if I just reopen the tab. So let's go to a website. Okay. So what we've got is the N overlay is already engaged. So it's just changed the color background here. And if I want to pause it, I can just turn a pause on there. So, and then yeah, refresh, and it'll go back to white. The big one, I suppose, that's really useful, that's new to me as well, is Helperbird. So if I go to, Helperbird. Oh yeah, bit of a delay on that one. Probably because I've got so many extensions engaged. So this is the interface of Helperbird. You can add a toolbar menu. You can pause Helperbird if you don't want the features on at any one time. You can show your favorites only, which means that you can limit the most common tools for learners, which is quite handy. And as we go down the list, you can change the font. If you've got the Pro version, you can change the font size, word spacing. Sorry, word spacing is a free one. So let's turn that on. And let's change my font options to Comic Sans. That's quite a popular font sometimes, an easy one to read. And if we look down here, we've got Immersive Reader. So what I'd like to do is, I think, yeah, I've already put it into my favorites. So if I just click favorites only, then it will show this as one of the top options here. And then if I hit start, it'll load Immersive Reader. And then it puts my entire page into Immersive Reader. So that means you've got Picture Dictionary built in. You've got all the different text options here to increase the spacing, change the font text size, change the theme background. You've got the grammar options where you can turn on syllables, parts of speech with nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. There's a line focus mode built into it. We can translate the whole document, or we can translate by word. So I've been learning German recently. So if I go to German and I click on a word that I want to change, sorry, to read, then it'll give me the German there as well. And if I click on it, it reads that out loud. Oh, most importantly as well, potentially text to speech built in as well. And it's reading that out loud to me through my headset. Okay, so that's all built in. Dalton here, if I click on that, I can change the color mode that we're in and the severity as well. We can also reset it, and there's an off-on toggle there. Okay, so that should give you an idea of some of the apps that we've been, some of the extensions that we've been using. I hope you found them useful. I found it really useful actually to go through it. Oh, thanks, Caroline. Yeah, I did include that one first because I thought it might be quite useful. Helperbird's really good. There's a lot to it which can be a bit complicated, but I do suggest having a play with it and kind of seeing which ones you want to get. Yeah, and I hope you found that all really useful today. Let me know if there's any more work you need done with that. If you need more help with that, then let me know. I know it can be quite overwhelming to have this many options at once, but I suggest maybe just get started with one browser extension, show your colleagues, and go from there. Yeah, if there's no more questions, then I'll finish up there. Yeah, let me know how you get on. Let me know if you use any of these tools and they work out well for you. Love hearing feedback from you all. And I'll send out the slides to you all, and we'll upload this onto our YouTube channel as well, so you can share it with others. And thank you all for participating today, and we'll see you next time around. I'll leave the chat open for a bit, so if you've got any comments, let me know how you found it today, and any questions. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks, Kelly. Oh, yeah, Caroline, that's an excellent question. Are they reasonably easy to install? Yes, they are. You literally just type in your browser the name of it, and then just type and Chrome extension, and it will take you through to the page, and you just click add to Chrome. That's it. Oh, thank you everyone. And I can probably show you very quickly actually. So I can just type in Helperbird. Oh look, there it is already. Helperbird Chrome extension. It should be the top one on the list. I've changed all my fonts now. There we go. And on the right hand side, where it says remove from Chrome on mine, it'll say add to Chrome. If you notice, I'm already signed in here as my Gmail account, so you might just need to do that first as well, just the first time. Okay, glad you found it really useful, everyone. Thank you. And yeah, I'll leave the chat open for a bit, but take care, everyone. Bye now.